Sparkling alcohol, nice. So today I'm out and about, going on a walk during my lunch, and this is something that I have been trying to start doing a little bit more, especially now that the weather's a lot nicer. Truck warning is to try to do more vlogs outside on my lunch from work. So I'm gonna change it up a little bit today. I figured one of the things I wanted to start doing is dad jokes, because I love dad jokes. They're super lame, and there's nothing I love more than a lame joke. So what do you call a factory that makes okay products? A satisfactory. That one was the favorite of the three that I looked up today. And no, I don't come up with any of these on my own. Although maybe listening to enough of them, I will actually come up with something on my own. We'll see. And one of the things that I thought about this journal, so to speak, or this vlog, is that it's a little too one-sided. Like, I like parenting journal part of it. I definitely do, but I feel like that's not enough. So one of the other things I'm really interested in is philosophy. So I really like philosophy questions, theories, ideas, all that kind of stuff. So I figured I would look up a couple of classic philosophy questions and see if I can't answer some of them from my perspective. I just got to find the one that I wrote down. So the philosophy question of this video is, are you born with purpose, or do you have to find it, or do you have to create it? And I actually think the answer to this depends a little bit on your gender. And again, this is just a theory of mine. This isn't meant to be negative in any way, but I think that women have an innate purpose built within them, meaning that I think that as a woman, you are born with the ability to have children and to bear children. And I'm not saying that's your sole purpose, but if you don't have any other purpose, that can be your purpose. And so I think that because of that, there's always like if you don't want a career, or if you want to just have kids and raise a family and that's your priority, more power to you, that's great. If you want more than that, you want a career, you want to do other things, more power to you on that one as well. But the difference I think with that is that women are born with at least a biological purpose. Whereas men, I mean, yeah, we have a biological purpose too, but we're not built to nurture children the same way women are. I mean, just look at our bodies. They're vastly different. Women have nutrition on board to raise a child and feed a child, whereas a man pretty much participates in 34 seconds of the process. And that's mostly a joke. Hopefully you last longer than that. But anyway, so from a man's perspective, I think that purpose has to be found. I think that you're born with innate abilities. I think you're born with stronger attributes that can lean you towards a purpose, but ultimately I think you have to find it. I don't think you have any fallback plan sort of purpose. I think you have to actually go out there and look for it and navigate what that purpose is. And it doesn't really matter what that is, as long as you go and look for it. And again, this isn't to say that the only purpose a woman has is to bear children. I'm just saying that at least biologically and traditionally, women have a fallback plan. If all they want to do is have children and raise them, they're built for it. They have the equipment on board, so to speak. So that's really all the point I was trying to make with that. So now onto the parenting topic. So I was thinking the other day how much your own childhood has to do with how you raise your kids, and how much of that is conscious and subconscious. Because I think there's definitely things that we all do that we don't realize that we're doing when we're raising our own kids that probably came from experiences we had as kids. And then there's some that are very obvious, and it's probably difficult to label each one of those. But I know, at least for me, one of the things that I realized was that I wanted to be a little bit more understanding of everything before making a decision. Not all decisions, but I wanted my experience as a parent and my kids' experience to be as open to possibilities as possible. Because one of the things that I remember very distinctly about my childhood is that my dad was always right, and anything that went against what he thought was right was wrong. And so it made it difficult to not only make my own decisions, but have any sort of conflict resolution. My natural tendency is to simply just fold under any sort of pressure and to avoid conflict at all costs. And that's not very beneficial for the real world. So, you know, it is what it is, but I wouldn't want that for my own daughter. I wouldn't want that for my own kids. I would rather play the game of trying to see what they think the answer is, right? And then explore possibilities. I think that's a much healthier way of going about it. But there's been some other things that have been fairly subconscious that have come up into the consciousness as a result of just parenting. And those have been the real lessons that I've learned since my daughter's been born. Things that were, I guess, hidden, or that weren't exposed is maybe a better way of putting it. And then they get exposed through situations. And you know, kids really do mirror their parents in so many ways. And it's interesting how nature makes it so that your kids sort of bring out the things in you that you need to work on, you know? I always find that really interesting and helpful because otherwise they just continue to be blind spots. Also, there's a very good chance that I'm gonna get sunburn on my arms because this is the first time that they've been out in the sun since probably September of last year. So that's 6 months. I've only been outside for 8 minutes, but I'm pretty sure that's enough to get these pale puppies pretty burnt up. So yeah, that's some of the interesting parts about being a parent, and you're sort of re-raising yourself while you raise your kids in some ways. I'm sure that's not the case for everyone, but I'm having so many memories and experiences brought back into my more conscious mind as a result of being a parent and parenting my own kids and questioning. Because, I mean, the way you parent is, whether you like it or not, is the way you're going to parent by default. And it's only in recognizing what you didn't like about that experience for yourself as a child, how you want to change it for your own kid. And that's not always easy because part of what makes you you, and depending on where you are in life, you know, successful in the things you've overcome, is probably tied to the experiences you had and in the way that you were parented. So how do you differentiate what was useful and what was wasteful? It's not always easy, but I guess that's part of the learning process, is you're just trying to improve upon what you experienced as a kid. Come on, Arya. And that's also been an interesting part of it, is it's like, wow, I'm very lucky to have had these experiences and had parents that cared about these things, because I see my friends, and I don't know how they were raised, but I can take a guess based on how they raised their own kids. And I'm surprised they even are allowed to have kids sometimes. So anyway, that's my journal entry today, much longer now that I'm adding more topics, which I'm actually happy about. I wanted these videos to be a little bit longer, have a little bit more meat to them. So we'll see how this style goes, and then we'll go from there.